on your.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
How'd
and
it go? How'd it go this week with that?
well, in some senses it went well. I mean, I we can I'm going to start playing through this a little bit, and the one and two and three and
Mm-hmm.
pattern in my mind is very helpful and all. But what I sort of struggle with was um, I'm trying I'm trying to forget about the lyrics because if I the overlay of the lyrics kind of throws things way off,
Yeah.
and particularly in any of the measures where there's the series of pinches. So
Which is usually like on the G's. Well, and there's the one measure that's three pinches.
yeah,
But that shouldn't be too weird because those are just three quarter notes.
yeah, they're three-quarter notes, and the thing there is just it's just when I'm getting to the just it's more this more just making sure I remember where I'm going.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
It's this is kind of a mental thing, and this is sometimes the struggle of the whole thing. But anyway, making progress. But that's definitely that what throws the timing off.
Sure.
With the timing off, and again, anyway, that's what we're working
Okay. Let's hear how it's going.
on. So, um, but at the same time, I must say it's really fun. Oh, and I also um, work on the side project of Sounds of Silence,
Huh?
uh, which we'll get to. That's again, that's a lot of fun. But
Cool.
anyway, anyway, and what was the other thing? Oh, you'll see here. There's a couple of things that are um, let me
So no
just
pinches here.
no pinches here. No,
Okay.
I'm just
Just warming up into it.
telling my fingers where the strings are.
Okay.
Yeah, and and trying to get comfortable with that. So so
Yeah. Okay. Two quick little things. Or do
uh,
you have a question or a comment there first?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, One is I think you're playing the second chord not correctly. What are you playing after the chord up the neck?
After this,
Yeah. Okay, good. So sometimes in there, I think you went to A minor. Now there is an A minor in there at one spot,
yeah.
but I think a couple times when it was supposed to be that pair of notes, that pair of chords, you played an A minor where it should have been the what chord is that when you have that first finger off?
This is well. It's basically we're just taking away the C. It's got to be A minor sus2.
Almost. Yeah. Oh man. What does minor mean?
Minor means that the third is flat.
And what's the status of the third in this chord?
Uh, it's well, here's here's the D. Um, oh, no, no, not the D. Um, here's the E,
Okay.
and here's the A.
Okay.
That's what it was. That was the C, and we've taken that off. And since the C was the third,
Okay.
yeah, we've made it a B.
Right.
That's what made it minor. No,
What's the difference between A major and A minor, first of all?
the difference between A major and A minor is that there's a C sharp is the third.
Right. And so we do what to the third?
C is the flatted third.
Right.
So we've taken that away so we don't have a third. And so we have a second.
Right. So the name for that chord then is
A sus2.
right. Oh, really good. That was great. So there is no such thing as minor sus2.
Right. It can't be. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I got that. Okay.
But what else is kind of interesting about the sus2 chord or the sus4 chord where you would add D instead, the note above the C sharp, right?
Yeah.
Is typically the sus4 chord resolves it's a chord with some tension in it. That fourth creates some uneasiness.
Yeah.
And usually when sus4 chords happen, they resolve to the same major chord. Like if you have an A sus4 on, usually it resolves to A major.
Okay.
But we still don't think of it as A major sus4, you know. But and so the same that what's going on in this song is you've got A minor on the brain because this whole thing is revolving around A minor. But we actually rarely play an A minor chord in this song.
Right.
What happens is because of the melody, because of what we're singing, and the fact that there's a C chord in here in a few spots, we don't remotely hear A major as any kind of the tonality or the key that we're in. So we're clearly in the key of A minor, but we really just don't hear an A minor chord per se as very often. We only hear it in like one measure, I think. It's on the parsley. It's after the first C. Is I think the only time we really play an A minor.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes from to here.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so okay, why did I bring all that up? Well, I just want to do a little bit of the theory on the sus2 chord. I want to review that a little bit, But and then the other thing was the measure that has the pinches in it, the three pinches. Oh, that G. We'll come back and do all that again too, but they're just three quarter notes. You kind of rush the two D's, feeling like they had to you had to get them done quick. You don't. It's just three straight quarter notes in that measure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing that was pretty good, but you got to keep this in mind, is that when you're doing the two main chords back and forth, and of course your second finger is staying in contact with the fourth string. But you got to keep playing even if you're a little late you should be a little late to the chord. Like never let go of these chords early to try to get to the next chord on beat 1. You never need it till beat 2 in the case of one of them and till the end of 2 in the case of the other.
Yeah.
So, so it's like, your left hand should move really smoothly and really slowly, and particularly going back from the sus2. This is where the last note you play on the sus2 is a fretted note. And you really don't want to kill that too early. You don't want to hear this. Did you hear that note just get die because I was like moving fast?
Right.
So
right.
you want to not start moving back until you've hit the bass note for the next measure, so that last note, you don't hear the last note die. It gets camouflaged.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That was good. That last one was really good.
I think I get the idea.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
kind of goes, it's a little counterintuitive. Like you can see the first couple times you tried to do that, when you move late, you end up hesitating down here thinking, I'm not ready, but as you did it a few more times, you got those better in sync and you kept going here even though this was behind, and so
Yeah.
that's really important in this
Right.
particular
Yeah.
change.
Slide into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um,
The introduction, by the way, the introduction was really good. You kept all that in really good time. You got to I mean, it's pretty easy what happens in the intro, and you just have to not like rush through any of it. This song is pretty relaxed. When you listen to them, it's a little faster than what we're talking about, and
yeah.
and anytime you think about trying to play with a recording, the one thing about it is it's incessant. If you get a little bit behind, you're not catching up.
Right.
So, and but we're not worried about that like yet in this song,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's really to kind of master everything at 80% speed, and then think about speeding it up. Although that's not even important necessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give the second part a wing here.
Okay.
From
Let me hear the first line of the vocal again. The G chord with the hammer. Take it from the beginning of the vocal one more time.
oh, okay. 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 Um, from the beginning of the vocals, yeah, from here. Yeah. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
is that is that
That was it. That was perfect.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then you're right back to the little vamp.
Let me do that one more time.
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah. No, wait. Does that C chord doesn't start with a pinch, does it?
Pinch. No,
Okay.
there's no pinch.
Now, you know what though? There would be nothing wrong with that. I mean, I really would encourage you to mess around with this a little bit once you've got it a little bit more clear in your head and comfortable. So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay. Yeah. But there shouldn't have been. I mean, I should have gone from. Well, here's where I should have been. I think. Okay.
yeah.
Kind of bundled that, but
And
yeah.
then, one thing that might be difficult when you're doing that pinch on the C chord, on both these pinches, the C's and the D's, you're playing your thumb and all three fingers together,
Yeah.
right? So we're trying to make sure you get four notes in there. And yeah, and especially on the D, this is where right hand position might have to be adjusted a little bit. Sometimes your thumb is running into your first finger when you play. If your thumb's tucked inside your hand like this,
Right.
you can't really play two strings adjacent like the fourth and the third strings very cleanly.
Right.
And this is like a good excuse to be thinking about. Yeah, what you might have to do there is even lower your hand a little bit so that your thumb is not coming down so much like this, But yeah,
Oh,
there. Oh man, that looks great. And then try to keep it out in front of your first finger a little bit more. Yeah.
okay. These, huh? Yeah, I see what we're trying to do. Um,
So with your thumb, yeah, that looks great. Now that probably doesn't feel 100% comfortable. um,
no,
but so
no,
your
I
thumb,
can't.
when your thumb's hitting a note, it should be much more on the side of your thumb that you're playing, not like the tip of your finger. You
Right,
know?
right.
So you're not sticking your thumb in there like this to try to play a note. It's more almost just parallel to the strings,
Yeah,
that you're hitting it with the side. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that, and just I feel like I'm hitting it right there.
That
But my
looks good now. Yeah.
weirdly shaped hand doesn't seem to want to do that.
Well,
But
whatever, a good way to kind of gauge this is put your thumb and your first finger on the fourth and the third strings
yeah,
and just practice playing them one after another. And they should not be in each other's way. Your first finger should be going inside your thumb. It should look kind of like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
When I do that, my first finger is pointed significantly towards the bridge.
that's good. That's okay. Yeah. Um,
I don't know if the other one. That's the hard part.
yeah, you know what? All three of your fingers play more on the thumb side of the fingers is where the contact with the string is, rather than like right in the center. And I don't know if you can see this, but if you even look at the nail of my first finger, it's long on the thumb side and short on the other side. I don't know if that's showing up, but like it's longer here.
Yeah.
And that's because that's the part I use. This other part gets worn away from strumming because when I hold a pick, that part of the nail touches the strings.
Okay.
But I've got the nail where I need it,
Yeah. Yeah.
on this side. And the
Yeah.
same thing with all of these. All of these nails are going to tend to be shorter on the little finger side,
Yeah.
longer on the thumb side.
Okay.
So there definitely is a feeling of your fingers are going back a little bit rather than perpendicular, like straight into the strings. It it's not really significant, but well, it's significant, but I mean it's not a huge angle change. But when you felt like your first finger is pointing back a little bit, that's okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that keeps your thumb and your first finger
Yeah.
in different planes. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And are you hitting with the nails on your fingers?
I am, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're actually picking with the nails.
Yeah, yeah. And so if one breaks, I'm lucky to have fairly hard nails, but it's been like a lifetime of worrying about them. And because if one of these three or my thumb, or even worse, if I break it doing something, it's really difficult to play. And I have to adjust. If I break one of these fingers, I have to like not use it for a while the nail comes back. Sometimes it takes like 2 weeks. So I'm really kind of religious about like there's a lot of things I'll never do with my right hand, even though I'm right. I'll never open a car door with my right hand. You know, I'll never reach into a washing machine to grab clothes. Oh man, even just doing that, I think, oh, you can't do that because it's just too easy to ding it on something. And so, or I never reach into a cupboard that I can't see what's in there with this hand. So it's like I've adapted my lifestyle to this is the hand that does the dangerous stuff.
Right. Okay. No, I totally get that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well,
But I'm not telling you to grow your nails and learn how to use them. I mean, many really good finger picking guitar players don't use nails at all. Now some, my idol was John Renbourn, and he had very thin nails, but he lived with ping pong balls. He went with fake nails starting back in the 70s. I mean, he would use crazy glue and cut off little pieces of ping pong balls and glue them to his nails, and that's what he would use as to pluck to play with. So
I don't
anyway,
know. Aren't there picks that people put on their fingers?
yeah, the problem with picks is you don't really have much control of the tone. If you play with a metal pick or even a plastic pick is worse. Well, they've evolved into much more useful picks. But the problem with like a plastic pick is when I hit a note with this finger, if I've got a plastic pick, the contact point is like out here,
Up there, yeah.
and you can't feel the strings. You
Yeah.
know, that's the other thing. It's like when I pluck a string, I first touch it with the flesh. I feel it first with I feel it. I touch it with the flesh. Then it kind of then I slip it onto the nail, and then the nail hits it. So it's and this is how classical guitar players play. And but yeah, playing with nails is another aspect of guitar playing. But it's and now some people. I don't know if we've talked about Lawrence Juber or if you know much about him, but he's a really pretty famous finger picking guy who played a little bit with Paul McCartney's band with Wings for a while. But he after his Wings career in the early '80s, he kind of got big on the finger picking scene. And he and a lot of other people play with no nails. I think Tommy Emmanuel doesn't use nails either. But you eventually they develop like calluses on the ends of their fingers, so they've got like hard fingertips, the same way you'd have on your left hand.
Yeah.
And that gives them more their fingers like so if I broke a nail and had to play with just the fingertip, I've got like baby butt type. I have no calluses under my nails because there's nothing there.
Huh.
But anyway, so
How about somebody like I can't think of his finger style. I can see him.
Muriel Andrew, oh woman,
No. Uh, God, my brain just doesn't work anymore.
oh,
You're gonna when I think of finger style, um,
Leo Kottke or
no, in the rock and roll world, Dire
oh
Straits,
oh Mark Knopfler,
Mark Knopfler.
no nails, fingertips.
All fingertips. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like he's got a pick or something.
It does, yeah. I'm pretty sure he doesn't use nails at all. But it's like yeah, and he has. Well, first of all, he's one of the best of all time in terms of the stuff that he did. But yeah, but see now on an electric guitar, they don't chew up your nails as much either. And he does a lot of acoustic stuff too, but not, but but the Dire Straits tunes were all electric guitar, which doesn't really chew up your nail, much lighter strings. And the same thing with I mentioned Muriel because she plays a nylon string guitar, which doesn't take the wear and tear on your nails as much either.
Okay.
So most classical guitar players, even though they're really I don't know anal about keeping their nails in tip-top shape, they kind of don't have the the danger or the threat that steel string guitar players like me take every day with touching these metal things with my nails and just hoping that. So you know what I mean. I am virtually never any place without one of these like within reach. Here it is, like right on my desk, right or on my table here, because sometimes I'll be playing something and I'll hear that oh man, there's a chink in that nail. It's like that note didn't sound right, and if I keep playing with it right then, it'll get bad really fast. And so it's like so at concerts when I used to do more concerts. Pretty much between every song, I would polish up my nails and make sure because I would play really hard, really loud, and kind of real dramatically in many pieces.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like I had to patch my nails between every two or three songs at least, and make sure that nothing was getting ripped up.
Wow. Well, if you break a nail when you're in a concert, that's kind of the end of the end of the gig, isn't it?
It's things are gonna sound different, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well.
Okay, let's go on to the second line.
All right. Second line. Second line. Second line. Okay. Okay. I got to remind myself of.
Oh, actually, we already did this. The second line is the one that has the C and the D with the grabs. That's what we were just talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're into the third line.
Yeah. Yes. Right. We're into the third line. Yeah. I called it the second part, but.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. We're into the remember when part.
Right.
That's where we are. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Okay. Remember where. Okay. it's
Right. So this measure is a little different, right?
yeah. This measure is different. It goes
Because you got to play a couple extra bass notes.
yeah.
And now this is just a normal measure of C.
Yeah, yeah. So that series is
Too late. Wait, you didn't start the bass run soon enough.
oh no. That's where okay. That's where it goes.
Yeah.
That's the it goes
Yeah. Perfect. That's how it goes. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, then it goes to the pinches. Okay.
Too late. Again, wait. You played too much of the A measure. Yeah. Almost. One more time. So all the bass notes are on the same string. All the bass notes are on the fifth string here. There. Yeah. And now another pinch on the G chord. Yep. On this G, so you have two measures of G here with this long little embellishment, right?
Yeah. Go. Yes. It's
And isn't there one more note? Yeah. So don't let go of that G. Don't let go of that bass note at all. Keep your third finger on the G for the whole two measures. Yeah. Now the timing on that is there in the first measure of that G.
yeah.
Is the last thing a pinch, or is there a note after the pinch on the and of three?
It's one and two and three and
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first measure, right? So you have all 6/8 notes in that
yeah.
measure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in the next measure, what's the timing?
3/4 notes.
Right. Yeah. So you got to make sure to not play that too fast, right? So the first measure is right. You got to in the second measure, you got to slow them down to quarter notes. It's two pinches. Almost. It's two pinches in a row, then the G and the bass by itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that timing was good. Wait, that's what happened. You're missing. You're not playing the last note on the and of three in the first measure. One and two and. There's a finger on the and, I think. Oh yeah, okay, that was right. Sorry. So beat three in there is two pinches. A pinch on three and a pinch on the and of three. In the first measure.
In the first measure, a pinch on three and yes.
Yeah.
It's one and two and
There you go.
three and one, two.
Yeah, okay. So those first two pinches when you've got the pair of notes here, the C and the E, are eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Right? But then you have the exact same two pinches, but now they're quarter notes.
Quarter notes.
So you got to make sure that you hear that 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Did you hear it?
Yeah. Yeah, that time I heard.
Yeah. I think you were having a tendency to play the two quarter note ones too fast because you just played two eighth note ones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
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 Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, what happens next? Now we have a normal A minor chord, right? Or is it A sus2?
Sus2 chord, yeah.
Okay.
Then it goes.
So this is the fourth line.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, so this is different timing. Let me hear that measure. Start that measure again, the G measure.
Okay, so it's.
Oh yeah, oh really close. Okay, so just do the first measure because we have an eighth notes at the beginning, but then a quarter note at the end, right?
Right.
Oh, we actually have two quarter notes.
Two quarter notes. Yeah.
Right.
We sort of walk it down there. Okay.
Right. Good. Okay, so that's that measure.
Yeah.
Okay, now in the next measure, you've got the open pinch, and then a hammer-on pull-off. Right, so it's... Yeah, and what's the last note in that measure? Right, okay, yeah. So that measures a pinch of the two middle notes.
Right.
Then the same two strings open with a quick hammer-on and pull-off.
Right.
That's the second beat. And then the third beat is the G and the bass again.
Right. So, yeah, it's one, one.
Wait, is one? I think that's the wrong pinch, isn't it? On beat one, isn't it the two?
Oh, just these. Yeah, just these.
But you still have, but you already have, but you have the G and the bass anyway.
It's open. It's open. It's
Right. Right. So that's that measure. One more time. Right, and then you're just back to the vamp.
Now back to the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you got a clearer idea of the timing in those now, and just got to execute it as far as how the quarter notes and the hammer-ons and which pinches and all that stuff work.
Yeah. The one that is cloudiest is the C. It's this one. Yeah. It's this one.
Okay.
Let's see.
Perfect. Okay. What you could do there to make sure you're hearing it better, all that is three pinches on the beats.
Yeah.
With an and played after every one.
Yeah.
So if you play it without the and, sorry. Practicing those four pinches actually in both directions and would be a really good kind of side exercise because those pairs of notes, so this is harmony. We're hearing the bass line and the melody line moving parallel. In this case, they're descending parallel, but when I played it backwards, they were ascending. But we hear that particular run. This is really common. It's used anytime you're getting from G to C. The bass could go G, A, B, C. And the harmony that gets added is starting with B. We're playing notes that are in thirds, a G and a B,
Yeah.
and then an A and a C,
Yeah.
then a B and a D, and then if to continue that pattern, I'd be at C and E. Now, in the case of Alice's Restaurant, when it gets to the C, it just hits the bass, and the E comes in on the next beat.
Yeah.
But anyway, that sequence of moves with both your left hand and your right hand is a really important one to practice because it happens in lots and lots of songs.
Sorry, Mike. Hang on a second, Harry. I just lost everything.
Uh-oh.
I can hear I
Oh.
can hear you. Here, let me do this. Ah, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you got your file. Okay, so
You know what? What happened right there when I was playing that? I heard a note that my second finger hit that I didn't like. It's like, oh man, there was a little rattle to it, and it's like I got to get the burr off that finger right there.
right.
And
Okay.
that's interesting because yeah, that was completely subconscious too. It's like I heard that it wasn't working and I had to fix it. So yeah, almost. Yeah, yeah. So practice that both ways, up and down, and get used to yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's C and E.
Right.
Okay, C and E, B and D.
Okay.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Somebody's at the door.
Yeah.
Alright, I just scan your ID and I left the bag here for you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Oh, almost. You just got too many notes on that last one. Yeah. So there's all kinds of yeah. Each one of those pinches requires a separate little tweak to what every finger is doing on both hands.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the spacing is your thumb and your middle. Sometimes then it changes to your thumb and your ring. Although they're spaced at the same distance your thumb and your middle were. You know, with as far as how many strings apart they are.
Right.
So this is a really good mental exercise too. Just being able to process all the plates that are spinning right there while you're trying to do that. So anyway, this run is just that, right? It's just that descent. I mean, it's just that, but with an eighth note filler.
With a filler, yeah. Okay. So yeah. So it's yeah. The eighth note filler is here.
Right. Almost, not quite. Do it again. Keep the bass note on.
Huh?
Keep the bass note on right now when you go to the right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to work through that. Okay. That's the work plan there.
Okay.
Um,
So tell me about Sounds of Silence.
yeah. Sounds of Silence. Okay. I'm Sounds of Silence. I've been talked about just starting to work through the intro, which effectively is sort of the whole
All right. Okay. Our plan with this was to figure out the melody.
figure out the melody in the intro.
Right.
So when I do that, uh, um, well here let's I'll just
Yeah.
Okay, I can figure out the melody, and I can do it better than that. But what I'm doing over here is I'm just simply picking it out with my thumb.
Yeah, I was gonna.
So that's not.
No, we don't want to do that.
No, I don't do that. Yeah,
Yeah, and so, but a lot of them you do want to do with your thumb. Let me think
yeah,
about this. Pretty much, you want to use your thumb on on the three bass strings, and these fingers on the top strings, one on each
yeah,
string. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I can't remember specifically if Paul did this, but what I would do there's places where there's room to put in extra notes between while there's a rests in the melody.
Right.
And so what you want to do then is have the chord down that note is part of, and play a couple extra notes of the chord to fill in that space. Now, as soon as we start the melody, that's a steady flow of eighth notes. So there's nothing, we don't need to do anything there.
Right.
But when you get to that D in the melody, what chord are we on? Where would be in the chord progression?
When we get to the D, we would. Um, oh,
Oh, have you practiced? Have you practiced like strumming through it? Like, can you strum the chords and sing the song or hear the melody?
if I think about it, I think it starts on A minor.
Right.
And
Okay, good. So that's what you got to lock into, is that when I get to that word friend,
yeah,
the chord is G, and I have like time to kill here. So what you want to do is put a G chord on and play some notes out of the G chord. You could even strum it. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. And that's back to like A minor right there. This is a little tough. Well, anyway, get the idea. Like, see how I just strum the G chord first.
yeah,
But what I would really do in there is just play some notes of the G chord while that D is ringing. Now, like right there, we've got a long run of notes that gets up. Anyway, do you follow that so far?
yep,
Okay, so when you have gaps in there, fill them in with notes of the chord.
right,
Okay. Now we have this melody that goes. When you get there,
yeah,
and the melody continues there, right? So the melody doesn't stop on that A, but that A is where there's a chord change, and it'd be really good to hear at least the bass note for that chord there, because it's going to change chords right away. You have two more melody notes right after it. Oh, there's two A's. When it gets back to that G in the melody, there's a new chord.
right,
Now you have time to fill in the chord
yeah,
because that note is held. But on the A's, there was a chord change, and there's no time. There's a short chord there that happens on those two A's.
okay.
Can you piece together what it is, where we are in the progression?
Well,
Oh wait, there's a big hint here. It has to be a chord that has an A in it.
right.
Okay.
So we've had A minor so far. Oh, it is A minor, isn't it?
No.
No?
Because of vision softly. What chord would you be strumming on softly?
No.
Now that was an interesting guess because that chord has an A in it.
Yeah, it does have.
But it's not the chord that happens in the progression. Okay, so where we're really going with this is you got to have the chord progression better in your head and then synchronize that up with where you are in the melody
Yeah,
and then figure out how to, yes, it's F.
yeah,
And so what I would do there is you don't need a whole F chord, but when you play that A in the melody, we need to hear an F in the bass. Just play an F as the bass note.
Just play.
Yeah, when that melody note is an A, like you have to have those two notes down together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear where we are now?
Yeah.
Vision softly. See, when you put the F in there, it's like you can hear the chord now.
Yeah.
So here's what that's going to sound like. And now I have time to kill on the C chord that follows it. But see, because a vision softly creeping, that F chord is only there for 2 beats.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to hear the harmony in there. We need to hear that it's an F chord.
Yeah.
Every other opportunity we've had so far, we had space to fill in some of the notes of the chord so you could hear the chord. Now, slightly more elaborate. It's a big, loud truck. Wow. Anyway, a slightly more elaborate version would be bring in a bass note for the chord whenever there's a chord change. Right there, I put the G in the bass, and now still fill in the time. We have a problem here. That C is the melody note, and the chord here is A minor.
Right.
So if you're going to put in a filler chord there, you're going to have to let go of that C. So what I would probably do there, just like strum the chord after that, and you can hear that would work.
Yeah.
There would be a more elaborate way to do that. Part of the problem that this arranging it like this has presented is we're playing the melody in the bass.
Yeah.
And in this case, that C got in the way of the A in the bass that we could play right there. And we don't necessarily want to go to the trouble of playing the C here and getting the A here. But that would be an option. So now we're getting a little bit more elaborate, even more elaborate than what Paul did.
Yeah.
And I've probably talked about this before, but one of the things, a difference between playing with a flat pick and or finger picking a song and flat picking a song is usually if you're finger picking a song, you put the melody up high and then you play bass notes below it.
Yep.
If you're playing it with if you're playing it bluegrass style, it's the opposite. Anyway, the melody is pretty low there, but you can hear, I got a lot more strumming in. Now I put the melody up a whole octave higher. It causes a new set of problems. I have to play an F chord and reach an A at the same time in the melody, which is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
So anyway, he kind of did something kind of in between those, playing mostly the melody, not worrying too much about embellishments, but there definitely were some times he played some extra notes of the chord when he had time to kill and fill.
Yeah.
There. And that's what he was doing, he was just playing, he either had the chord on or just played a few extra notes of the chord. So,
okay.
So make sure as you're working, you did a great job figuring out the melody and the timing of all that stuff, with your ear there.
Yeah.
Now just make sure you can know what chord you're on at every point, or like where every note is.
Yeah, where the chord changes are. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well that's a continuing.
That'll extend that project in another couple of weeks.
Absolutely. That's good. Yeah, so that's the work plan here. Next week, I am not certain about.